Morning, team. Back again. Wednesday morning, FOMC day. This should be some fun today. All right, folks. So before we get into it, as always, go through your checklist. Make sure you've done everything you need to do. Have you got your coffee? Have you had water? Have you had food? Are you feeling prepared for the charts? Are you already on tilt? Are you feeling well and able to trade? Do you have stuff going on outside of trading? Make sure you're coming to the screens in a positive mental attitude. If you're not, maybe a good day to step away. All right, let's get into the charts because this is going to be important today. We are in day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside a range. Boom, 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 boom. All right, day 5 inside a range. We expected this. We didn't expect to be outside of the range until today. Today, I expect us to move outside of this range. I don't know if it does it before FOMC, but definitely after FOMC, we are looking for a move outside of the range. Where is that likely to be? This is the range. Okay, most of it is to here. And we're thinking about breakouts versus failed breakouts. Now, if we break previous day low, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 days here bouncing around this low. If we break this, there is a trade if it liquidates down into at least this high to fill this old gap. All right, this gap from Wednesday to Thursday last week. If we stay heavy, where can it backtest? Probably somewhere into here. Right, here's your mean reversion 20-day. There's the top Bollinger Band. If it wants to come back down into there, it can. Lots of reasons if we think about this and this. Lots of reasons for it to maybe come down to there. You could also probably do a fib. Let's try one off the very low. To here, that would be a nice 30% fib. If we did one off the most recent swing, it would be maybe, yeah, similar, maybe down to a 50% pullback. So possible for that. A failed breakout of that would look a little bit like yesterday, all right, where we had that wick down, take some liquidity, turn back inside. An upside break, let's get rid of these. An upside break, we're building this, would be a push over, acceptance over the highs, over this for a squeeze higher into the 200-day, acceptance over the 200-day if we get lucky to take out this liquidity here and the top Bollinger Band. I'm not saying this happens in this morning session. This likely one of these two moves happens either in OFMC or tomorrow after FOMC. All right, so those are the moves I'm looking for. Let's go down into the higher time frames. All right, so first thing I want to see is yesterday, this day here, we had a B shape. Okay, and we failed and moved lower, which is what we expected. Sorry, that was on Monday. Yesterday, we put in slightly more P shape, balanced to P shape. If we hold above point of control and value area, this rotation here is possible. But what would I say? Net overnight, bulls are trapped. We're net short overnight. All right, we gapped up yesterday. I can't remember if this was earnings or Trump said something into the close. But since overnight session, all we've done is put in a high, fail, break, and rotate back down. We're basically in a giant one of these right now. All right, so you want to be careful. We know we're building liquidity. We've talked about it for the last few sessions. Okay, the big levels are going to be down here, the previous day lows, right? 790 to 730s. Break of that opens up the door for a move to backtest some of these. Let's just call it 700, 630s, all the way down into 400s. And if you get very weak, we've got a long way down to these old anchors and 20-day. All right, so we're watching to see if we get a liquidation break for this, if we get something like yesterday for this, if we get a return in and a push higher like this, or if we get a failed breakout and just a dance back into this range, right? I don't really want to trade in here. We traded in here yesterday for that move down to here because it was the first test back down. Then we traded the move outside of it. Now we've just got people trapped in. We said it would be like that this week until we get past FOMC. So just watching, we have to wait and see. We've got this old anchor from yesterday's lows that we're hanging around and the old point of control that we're hanging around right now as well. So big levels there. Into the lower time frame chart. Let's just squeeze this so you can see what happened overnight. All right, here's the gap up. New session. Stuck at highs, trade sideways, retest, fails to break out. That's where bulls get trapped. Rotate, run their stops, rotate, run their stops. Sideways for a bit and rotate and rotate. And we're coming back down to where we closed yesterday. We've already closed the gap. There's a gap up. We've just closed it. And these levels down here become key. Do buyers step back in or do we let go? All right, that's what we're playing right now. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than inside bars. Just remember that. So keep your expectancies low, right? Don't be thinking you're going to have a huge, huge winner today if we're going to stay inside. All right. Looking at the VIX. VIX is trading back up towards those highs. So the same level as yesterday. 25.20 is key. 25.20 is key. We're currently trading at 24.78. Yesterday we traded all the way down, almost gap filled into 23.90s. You would have seen yesterday we talked about the market maybe trying to be efficient and do that gap fill. It did it on, where was Trump? Was this him here? Yes, here. Did as close as it could, but if you looked at the ETFs gap filled here. And then we rolled. All right, so the chop will continue until it proves otherwise. And we're out of earnings season pretty much now. So I think things get a bit spicy back end of this week. We can have a little look at the mag. How are we doing for time? We're okay. Let's move this to a 5-minute quick look at the mag. It's going to be the same story here. Okay, Apple gapping up slightly, hasn't closed the gap, holding previous day highs-ish, that kind of level. Microsoft pretty much closed the gap. It's actually going to open down. Had that drive double top up there and is actually rolling over right now. So it looks like we're going to have a mixed bag in the mag. Amazon gapping up, testing that yesterday's little shelf here. Google gapping up but already closing the gap. Failed to break out of those highs in the after hours yesterday. Meta gapping up ever so slightly. Same kind of story. Double top high, rolling back down. Does it hold previous day lows? Nvidia opening up flat. Tesla slight gap up, but so far no acceptance over previous day highs. You can see on Tesla trapping buyers up there over this. So for Tesla, you might as well call it 778 is going to be key. All right, that kind of has you covered as far as the mag. Get rid of this. Let's get this full screen again. There we go. Let's get through some good mornings. It's the same story, by the way, on the ETFs. Everything looking the same. So if you're trading SPY, just for those of you who are trading SPY, you're watching 478.20s. Either a failed breakout or a breakout of those. So a breakout of those and a retest to stay heavy, you can get a wash probably back down to 474.75, that kind of level. Failed breakout, obviously you'll turn back inside the range, top side of the range. You're looking at, might as well call it 89 all the way up to 90. Those of you trading the ETF on QQQ, you're watching the lows of 556.90, 556 for a back test of 555.50s. Failing that, we can probably rotate 553s and lower. Again, same story. We're either looking for a breakout of those lows or a breakdown, if you prefer to call it that, or a failed breakout. If we just hold that and we rotate, we're just going to do very similar to yesterday. Probably a grindy day up and a more aggressive day down if they let go. You can draw in something like this white line that I have on all the ETFs very, very easily. From the highs, they're just making lower highs but not making lower lows. That's how we know we're trapped right now. We've got some equal lows but not lower lows. So you expect market participants to be trapped. The 200-day above us on everything right now. So you can watch those levels. If we break out, fantastic. We break down, fantastic. If we go in range, expect sloppy, grindy price action to trap traders in, especially before FOMC. All right, let's get these good mornings in. Then I'm going to grab my coffee and then we'll be ready. Morning, Clint, John, Miguel, Jesse, Marek, Jeff, Vince, Glenn, Thumper, Logan, Kaladin, Ramus, Famtab, Go for Hill, Peter Curry, Brandon, Juan Carlos, Chris, Mr. Slim, Raphael, Capt, TR, Abe, Richard, JD Florida Man, Trentry, Ken, Scott Sullivan, Leron, Array, ASAD, Mrs. 384, Mike, Phenom, Ash, Mindful Matters, Don Trades Gold, Lindell, and Andrus. Good morning, everyone. All right, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to grab my coffee, then we'll be back at the screens. Okay. There we go. Let's have a quick look at the book. I guess it's the only thing we haven't done really today. Where's the liquidity? Not much. Very, very, very thin. Very thin. Biggest order is like a 24 lot up at 935. Very slim liquidity above him. Nothing really below 850 right now. So let's see what we get at the open. I'm really not expecting much today. I have very low expectations. Could easily be a no trading session. Those of you who know, I'm a diehard Arsenal fan, will not be here for FOMC. We'll be watching Arsenal PSG. We need to win that game. I think we've got a great chance against Inter Milan in the final if we can get through this leg. That is where my attention is today. It is in winning that game. You can see these overnight highs here. This is Globex highs. Technically, this is Globex high. This was before Globex, but I've marked both out. They would both be important if we get up there. Your yellow line is your previous day close. So we're opening flat on the session. This is where we closed yesterday. You're opening flat on the session. Nothing, no big edge here. All right, there is no big edge here. If we hold this and we start to put in some bullish formation, if we do something like this, we can think about a trade back up to previous day high in Globex as a scalp. If we get heavy under these levels here, I'm not really that interested in a short before then, unless something becomes very clear and obvious. But if we start breaking down under these, then we can think about trades. Think about trades back down into these. All right. So here comes the open. Here we go into the open. Have I got the right chart on a 2 minute? Yeah, that seems okay. Get my glasses on here, folks, so I can see. Mixed bag on the mag. Most of the mag opening up flat or green. So Tesla 0.43% up, Meta 0.25% up, Google 0.70% up, Amazon pretty much flat, Apple pretty much flat, Microsoft a little bit red, 0.12% red, Nvidia the weak one 0.60% red. Did have earnings yesterday. Was AMD yesterday? SMCI was definitely yesterday. As we're in a little bit of a sell here this morning. Get my account set up here. Interesting. Ninja's lost something already. Great. Missing a button on my screen. What's going on there then? See if I can figure that out. I use AI enhanced chart trader for my orders, and it's missing something. Let's see if we can find it. Bid ask. It's a bit odd to start the day. Where have you gone? There we go. Limit orders 2. Okay, so we need that to be bid. And no offset. There we go. That was odd. Definitely something odd with my Ninja. All right. So hanging around yesterday's anchor off the low. Sorry, team. I'm not in a rush here. At yesterday's point of control. Point of control overnight is all the way up at 20,000. So 20,000 remains a key over under. We're just doing a dance between key levels. We can see it better on like an hourly or a 5-minute chart. You can just see why I'm not really looking to engage in anything here. Are we going to produce a higher low here? We're producing lower highs here. This is just getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and someone will end up losing once they've built the liquidity to do whatever move it is that they want to do. But I'm really not expecting a lot in this morning session. So if we get something, it's going to have to really scream at us to take the setup, because right now, not a lot I want to do. Who knows what they're going to do for FOMC? We're not expecting any rate cuts today. I'm expecting it to be a bit of a non-event, but what will matter, as always, will be the hundreds of questions that they aim at Jerome Powell afterwards, and they will all be about tariffs. You best believe absolutely everything said is going to be about tariffs. They're going to put him on the spot as if he's got anything to do with it, but it will be his response to it that matters. How are we going to respond to tariffs? I'm probably expecting a de-escalation day coming up, all right? If we get a de-escalation day, I think we price up aggressively. There's nothing yet to say that we're going to have a de-escalation day, other than a few hints yesterday from Trump and his cronies saying that we've got a big event coming. But the major factor in de-escalation is going to be China. All anyone cares about is China. No one really cares about these other nations that much. Most of the product that comes into this country and around the world comes from China, and that's what matters. So a small range here this morning, as you can see, 55 points. Market not really doing anything right now. If we don't get going, if this session becomes a non-event, we'll just do a lesson or something like that. Those of you waiting for the Flow Zone Pros system indicator for TradingView, I've been promised in the next week to 10 days I will have it. So it will be an upgrade available for that. JD Vance is talking. Is he ready? Thank you, Peter. Let's have a little look. I talk about Europe and the US. Back down here to PDC. VIX is attempting to break out here. VIX coming to test that upside 25. So remember, 25, 25, 25, 20s will be the break. If we're going to slam here, there's a chance to trade back down to those previous day lows if they're really going to let go. Market not in a full decision here, I would say. Mixed bag on the mag still. Aaron, it'd be the same as the Ninja Trader one. So have all your previous day and previous week levels. It will have the Globex range done for you. It will have your opening range done for you. It will have the initial balance done for you. It will have market sentiment. It will have the option to recolor your candles based on where they are versus flow zones. It will, what else will it do? I'm trying to think. It will do dots. So just hanging around near the low of day here. Finding a bid here so far. Just in no man's land. This is yesterday's VWAP on the ETFs. So if they let go of this, we might trade down towards the previous day lows. ES has not closed its gap yet. I only just noticed that. We closed it on the Qs. We haven't closed it on anything else. So big levels here. They're going to make some decisions here at some point, you would think. Back to New York Open. Oh, I didn't mark that out. That'll be an error. What a muted open this is, as expected. Let's get this in. We'll do the New York Open for you as well, so I won't have to do this every day, which would be nice. Okay, so far just stuck here. If they're going to let this go for a little morning drift, we can come down to here. If they reclaim this, then they can do that grind back up. Again, no edge here right now. I don't know what they want to do, what their games are right now, but this is where the dance is. And it's a tight dance right now. Are they going to break these lows? But very, very thin. VIX starting to break out 24.14s now. No follow through to 25. So 25.25 big level on the VIX, like we talked about. If it breaks through there, it might go risk off. If it just comes up here and fails, then we can do that sort of grindy move back upside. 55-point range so far in the first 8 minutes. That's what I mean, folks. Not expecting miracles this morning. Things can change very, very quickly. ES trying to find a bid. VIX trading back inside after stealing a little bit of liquidity there. If VIX gets going, though, we go risk off. If it can't get going, there's no way we go risk off. So who knows? It's just a dance and a dance and a dance and a dance until they make their mind up. Not through, well, it whipped through previous day high on the VIX, has not got a closure through it yet. Yeah, exactly, Peter. I'm very much expecting that kind of day today. I'm not expecting great price action today. Let's just be clear on that. We have been spoiled recently in morning sessions before FMC where they've been quite good, but I'm not expecting it. There is a difference. Yeah, JD, you could probably trade some of the other ones, but I'd imagine most people in the same boat today. They're just gonna most the market in general will just be waiting, you would imagine. So here's the push back up towards those deep pullback flow zones. Do we go back and test sort of the London low into 960s and above? 950s, 960s. If it sets a squeeze back into yesterday's VWAP here as well. Are we going to go a bit more risk on? VIX starting to trade back downside, failing previous day high. ES starting to get going here. So ES has liquidity up at 560s. That liquidity for NQ would be at 960s. If it's going to really go and search for it. Otherwise, we can go up here, fail inside London. But let's just see. We're just waiting again. This is your sort of Globex level here. London lows. This right here. Acceptance into that. We go back inside the Globex range. If we can get going, there's, can go all the way up to the top side of Globex if it really wanted to. Like, who knows? If they start catching bids here, there's a chance for it to do it. London low looks like a fairly obvious level for it to go and test. Right at yesterday's VWAP here. find some bids here in front of that 900 psychological level and New York Open, then maybe it goes for that London level again. I'm not trading any of this. If it starts to fail that, then we just rotate down. Book's very, very thin. Some sellers up at 930s, but that's it. This book is not attractive to me. SPY now through the VWAP, QQQ trying to trade up towards the VWAP by the looks of it. Trying to hold that sort of bull flag to get up towards London at the moment. I don't trust any of this given the type of day we're in. That's what they're attempting to do. Attempting to get up to London. This orange box. Attempting to pivot. This is the buyers off yesterday's low. So this is yesterday's VWAP. Buyers off yesterday's low. All the time we're under that, all the buyers are probably stuck. We get over that, maybe you get acceptance for a little squeeze higher. Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. It won't, Andrew. I'm going to change things around a little bit. There will still be an indicator available in the course, but this will be an updated one. But anyone who's done the course will get a heavily discounted version. But yeah, I'll be changing it a little bit. So it looks like we're going for that London low. Opening range now set. Back towards the VWAP. QQQ still not through the VWAP. SPY through the VWAP already. Yeah, opening range set. What are we doing? Is SPY coming back towards its VWAP? Does it find a bid here or not? This will be key. Does it find a bid here or do we start to let go? Here's the VWAP on the SPY. Back testing it. They're trying to hold this up. If they can hold this up, it's got to drift higher. If they can't hold this up, it will be in trouble. There's the pull and push. So finding a bid off the SPY VWAP for now. And it will try and get up into here if it can. It's where it wants to go. It's trying to go higher. Do not get chopped up today, all right? We're expecting this kind of action. Do not go and force your way in here. SPY back to VWAP again. It's got to build out this like 5-minute bull flag if it wants to hold. QQQ, same kind of thing. So far, Apple's still red, Microsoft's still red, Nvidia still red, but getting some of those, getting back some of its gains, gaining back on some of its red price action. Tesla 0.2% up, Meta just under 0.5%, Google just over 0.5%, Amazon relative strength 1.35% green, Microsoft about to go red to green, Apple trying to join the party with it. So most of the market closed its gap now, including Nvidia. So the question now is, are there sellers once it closes the gap? or are we going for like through the gap and driving upside in this market? It's trying to build out that flag that we just talked about. It's trying to get upside. It's desperate to get upside here. It's just whether it can get through that opening range high 35s for that lift up into London. Can it get up into London right now is the question. And that liquidity high at 62. And if it can get through that, it can keep going. Here we go. So ES now joining the party. So we're at those highs that we created at sort of 9 o'clock this morning. ES already up here. All right. If you're wondering what I'm on about, that's where ES is. Coming up to that opening range high. Do we get a break of the opening range high now or not? Will be the question. If we can get a break, then maybe it's going to try and squeeze. There's the opening range high. Does it have the ability to squeeze out through this now? No. Look at that slam. Jeez. That was fairly quick, wasn't it? So someone came in there and said, hey, we're not playing these games. I'm just noticing more and more things from my Ninja Trader are missing. That was very, very thin there, folks. You can see, I would imagine a lot of people got skipped on there. Look at the market, the DOM, very thin as we trade down to the 850s. That probably skipped quite a few. If I'm watching the book there was no liquidity. It went for 935s and failed straight down to 895 instantly. That was an instant fail. And that was Nvidia by the looks of it. So do they push to then pull here? Are we going to get heavier here or not? Don't like anything I'm seeing right now. This is looks like a very dangerous session to me in the morning, which is not surprising because we're before FOMC. It's exactly what we expect. Some absolute nonsense from the market makers. They do not know what they want to do. Back towards New York Open and point of control here. Do they sell this or not? No idea. Do they bid it all the way back up? We were very thin there. So I would not be surprised for them to try and fill some of this void. Yeah, exactly, Miguel. The book is extremely thin. Very, very thin. You can see it on Bookmap. From that sell of 935, there was nothing until we got to 900. So it was 35 points of void. There was just absolutely nothing for 35 points. If we break down here, it can attempt to go for those previous day lows. If we break down. Big if. But I'd be very, very careful right now. Back towards the New York Open again here. So from here to here, there was nothing. From this to 900s, there was no one here when they did that. They just pulled everything. So we're trading right back to it now. Very, very ugly the way they are maneuvering this. Be very careful here, folks. Normally my bias would be downside, but on a day like today, I wouldn't know. Normally after an aggressive move like that, you'd look for a reprice to go lower, but I really would not be so sure. Yes, Vance is still talking as well, so maybe you've got news algo headlines. VIX again pushed for that 25 break, failed at 25.19, so not quite through it yet on the VIX. Nvidia 0.5% down, Microsoft red, Apple red, everything else green. See, this is what I'm wondering if they get a breakdown here on a bear flag. Normally I would play this, but right now I'm not too convinced. I am not too convinced. Not with what the VIX has just done, not with what's going on. I think they're just going to trap and trap and trap and trap and trap and trap and trap before they do anything of importance. But yeah, Can't remember seeing the book that thin on a pool like that for a while. That was nasty. So back up to where the book got thin then, that 900. And if we reprice this, we go right back to high of day, which is wild. But there's nothing in here. All right, so it's repricing where we failed from. If they reprice this, it can go straight back to high of day, which is crazy, but that's where we're at. That's the kind of move it can do, which it looks like it's trying to do right now. This is nuts, absolutely nuts how this is acting here. Tiny, tiny range, but it's more about the liquidity on the book or the lack of liquidity on the book. I would not be surprised to see a rug pull here. I would not be surprised to see a rocket ship here. Like, I don't think we just stay here and grind too much longer. I feel like they've got a sufficient amount of people trapped both sides right now, in my opinion, but it doesn't matter what I think. Someone's going to get hurt, for sure. For sure, someone will get hurt here. Do they rug it now that they fill the void, or do they feel like they need to go back towards higher day? Do the bear flags play out here? What do they do? I'm not even sure they know what they want to do right now. They probably don't know whether to go risk on or risk off. That's probably half the problem here. Still got advanced talking here, folks. Trump would be open to sitting down with Russia and China to reduce nuclear weapons. So far, so good with negotiations with Iran. You've still got Vance talking. He's still saying all kinds of stuff. If we've got news algos on already, you're going to get wild moves. And it looks like we have got news algos on based on what we've seen this morning. That's the type of move you'd expect from during FOMC, not necessarily before it. What a yank that was. Still empty above. It's still got a void to fill if it wants to go upside where we yanked from. All the way up to 35. Still possible. Absolutely, Lindell. Yeah, absolutely. It's why I said, like, this is probably going to be a no trade morning for me. It's probably going to be a no trade day for me. I don't trade FOMC. Like, FOMC, everyone's like, oh, you can make so much money from FOMC. Yeah? What's the other side of that? You can lose everything in FOMC. All right? Because it gets very, very thin, and then you will not be quicker to the trigger than a news algo. You just won't. I'm trying to find all these buttons which have disappeared for no reason on NinjaTrader. Nope, that's not there either. What a shame, man. I'm starting to get really annoyed with NinjaTrader. I'm coming to the desk every day and there's a new problem. Like, why has my enhanced chart trader just completely changed overnight for no reason? Where are all my settings? Just notice, like, my close all settings gone, my mini to micro settings gone, everything's disappeared. Trying to find it. Oh, where are you? So there we go. Filled the void. Back to the upside it goes. That's nasty. That is nasty what we're witnessing there. contract type, is that it? Okay, got one of them back. That's a good start. There we go. Okay, I think I've sorted it. Let's save that as a template before that gets lost again. Am I in trade? No way, dude. No way. No way. I'm not trading this. This is garbage. No chance am I trading this. What are you trading here? Continuation down and absorbed and a tight range and zoom out. And where are you at? I'm not trading until we get each side of this. I already said it. I made it really clear in Discord. I do not want to trade this. This is going to take your money. This will give you 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 money. This will take your money. No way am I trading in here. No way. By all means, you want to click buttons, you go ahead. My job is to protect my capital. That means I'm not trading this absolute garbage. We've already seen what they've done today. You've already seen it. If you're watching the book, you've already seen. We drifted up to here and they slammed this and there's nothing. There was nothing. No orders in here at all. And then they bid it all the way back up. There's no way I'm trading against that. I'm not going to get skipped 60, 70 points. Yeah, Paul, yeah. I just feel like pressing buttons. No, there's no flipping way, folks. No way. Until we get outside of key levels, I'm not trading it. All we're doing right now is another inside bar. We went over it pre-market. Some of you have got to learn. You have got to learn that not every session and every day will give you a trade. If you are thinking you are going to trade every single day, I'm already telling you, you're already setting yourself up to lose. You are setting yourself up to lose if you think you have to trade every day. That means you don't know what your trade setup is because you are looking for something in the chart which doesn't exist. Right now, there is nothing in this chart that exists. Let's just go to a 1 minute. All right, here's your opening range. No acceptance above opening range. No acceptance below opening range. We are inside previous day. So we've got no acceptance above, no acceptance below. So you are just trying to trade chop. You've made the decision that means to not identify your setup and trade chop. Not for me. Not for me. By all means, if you want to do that, if you think there's something here, that's fantastic. But for me, there's not a trade here right now. SPY, ES at its VWAP, SPY above its VWAP, QQQ at its VWAP, VIX still doing that dance. Failed breakout of those 2520s. Came up and hit 2519. Couldn't get through it. That was the attempt. It had the chance to do it, couldn't do it. We're just dancing here, and your range on the day is 87 points currently. Still just at the opening range high right now, at the ALB high. Mixed bag on the mag, right? Tesla about to go green to red. Nvidia, 1/3% down. Meta, 2/3% up. Google, 1/4% up. Amazon, 1.55% up. Strength there. Microsoft, 1/3% up. Apple, 1/3% down. Yeah, exactly. Like this is just a good day, not to bother, honestly, right now. Okay, liquidity on the book at 45. We are near these Globex levels. This is where we failed in Globex. Recovery of Globex might often offer something up into this liquidity up here. previous day high. Through that, Globex high. Otherwise, nothing. We just wait. I'm really not interested in pressing buttons right now. We just wait. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. It's very, like I said it. I've said it numerous times. It's very unlikely to offer a good trade this morning. Everyone is waiting for FOMC. Why would you want to trade? Why would any hedge fund take a trade right now when we've got Powell talking at 2:30 and they're going to absolutely drill him on all of the tariffs? Why is anyone going risk on into that event unless there's some insider trading that comes out and they know what's going to be said? No one's going risk on otherwise. All right? No one. You got to start thinking smart here, folks. Got to be okay with just being chill. Just letting the market do what it wants for a morning. All I'm asking you to do is let it do what it wants for a morning and see what happens later. I don't trade FOMC anyway. I will trade tomorrow afterwards. Once every idiot has gone full send in FOMC and we've left some ginormous liquidity gap for us to go and look at, then I'll trade. They're already playing games with you. I mean, you're just sat in an opening range. Really, we haven't broken out of it. 30s. You're in a 60-point range so far in this session. That's it. That's all you're in. Totally, Lyndall. Yeah, they will absolutely drill him. What are you going to do if this happens? Well, how do you feel about this? What do you feel about Trump saying he wants to fire you? How do you feel about this? Do we have recession? What, you know, he doesn't even have all the answers. All he can do is, you know, his job is to react to data. Data is lagging. Any data he has right now is lagging way behind the tariffs. Everyone knows that deep down. So when will this market go risk on? If we get a de-escalation day, which would not surprise me if Trump just decides, hey, we're going to get rid of, we're going to pull all the tariffs kind of thing. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. If you've been following, what's it called? Unusual Whales, you would have seen the amount of insider trading that's been happening recently is outrageous. Outrageous. Based on decisions made by Trump. So I think they did a statement yesterday, Unusual Whales. You can have a look at it if you're interested. People taking huge positions in options before, uncannily, minutes before unscheduled announcements come. It's insane. But that's what's been happening. Okay, back down to our VWAP. QQQ cannot get through VWAP. ES cannot get through VWAP. SPY is sitting above VWAP, trapped between its SPY VWAP and ES VWAP. So between two futures, lots of VWAPs. But ES is trying to get through its VWAP. Nvidia's having an attempt to go red to green. Tesla's now green, just. And I mean just. Apple trying here as well. Big eyes on Nvidia. Last time it got up here, it got absolutely hammered. We got a big yank. Are they going to let through here and get through London is the question. And if they get through London, are they going to go all the way up to previous day high? If they get through the VWAP, do they go previous day high? Starting to try and break here. And I keep noticing more and more things missing. This is disappointing from Ninja Trader. I have to change this now as well. God, my eyesight's bad. Trying to get up towards that London now. Desperate to get up there. So approaching those London levels. SPY ES approaching 5-day moving average here. VIX starting to break down a little bit. And ES has now swept that liquidity. If it starts getting acceptance above, it can drift higher. Yeah, VWAP not too far away. Just know that ES has already got through it. ES coming into that higher time frame algo. This is where we failed from overnight. So it really now depends if it's going to get acceptance over that 5-day now. Starting to attempt to base above the opening range if you trust that. I'm not convinced I do, but it's trying to. Market all green now, other than Nvidia. Nvidia is desperately trying to go red to green. This is its second or third attempt to do it. Google right at the same level. Tesla only just through it. These are big, big levels, folks. Like big levels, whether this market decides that they want to let it drift higher before FOMC or not, or if they're just going to go sideways and trap and trap and trap and trap and trap. Both of those things absolutely possible. Book remains like 5 lots and 10 lots. There's no notable magnet on it today. Yes, back to its VWAP. Does it find a bid here for an expansion higher or not? Here we go. It's tempting to get up to London now. There's London. London tagged there. 50s. So London at 53s. You can see this orange box. Globex low now tagged. If we get acceptance above that, the liquidity left is at 61 and then up towards VWAP. All right, they're going to start going expansion. Tesla now going red on the day. Nvidia still just hanging around. Google just hanging around. So we're not in alignment here, but VIX is starting to fail here, back down to 2450s. It can find a bid here if it wants. This will be a dance in the midpoint of the session for VIX, because your extremes from previous day are 2390 up to 2510s, which we failed to break out of, back down to 2450. So we're basically at the midpoint between yesterday's extremes on the VIX. Just be aware of that. ES trying to build some liquidity here above the VWAP. Back down towards the opening range and the flow zones. They let go of this. A rotation is possible if they hold this. Again, they can come up towards VWAP if they really want to. Again, not expecting much today. Not expecting a trend or anything like that. If we build liquidity and they want to take this out, it could be interesting for a move up to here. Big ifs though. Last time it was trying to build that liquidity, we know what happened. And we're rebalancing an old H1 here as well. That candle from 8 a.m. this morning. So it has the chance to make a lower high here on the H1 if it wants. There's no alignment here for me in my how I'm looking. And if you look at the tape right now underneath 915, you will see that there is no one at home. It's just a big black hole. So if a big seller comes in and they get under 915, I don't expect it to catch a bid. It could just slide. ES back to VWAP. Doing the dance here. Over, under, over, under. Your ATR is very, very small in this session as well, folks. So don't be surprised if it expands at some point. If you are risking, I don't know, what's your average ATR? 15 points, and you suddenly see a 50-point candle, do not be surprised. Testing out. Got caught there. 1/3% down now. Nvidia red on the day as well. It's just not in agreement. It is just not a day to go risk on. It really isn't. Nice, Ken. Good work. Is that in Take Profit Trader? Lovely work. Still just stuck here underneath Globex. These are the kind of days that I came to expect a lot of the time. I think we've been spoiled before FOMC more recently. Congratulations, Ken, and lovely, lovely work. What size account are you in for that? Just make sure you take your time. Don't be forcing it. Take your time with it. ES trying to reclaim VWAP here. Nice. Some selling here into 55s. If we get through that, there's if they lift it, then again that move to VWAP is possible. Again, so far no acceptance inside of Globex here. We are still under Globex right now. Nice work. So above the opening range so far, beneath Globex. Building out liquidity. Does it want to do a drive into VWAP and previous day high, or do they reject Globex on that H1 rebalance and come back down toward the low of day? I have no idea. I have no bias in inside action like this. My bias will come when we do a breakout or a failed breakout. Like if you look at the daily, we sort of drifted up to, you know, where's that level there? 2015s. Yeah. So Nvidia and Tesla, the weak ones today. Everything else looks okay now. Meta 0.90% up. Google just about green, just hovering there. Amazon 2.5%. Meta 1/3%. Apple 0.20%. Nvidia 0.25% down. Tesla 0.41% down. Google just about holding on. That would be key. If Google starts rolling and pulling the market with it, then I think the chance for us to move through VWAP is very, very slim. Again, book is thin. No trades here for me this morning. There's nothing to trade here, folks. We're in a small range. We've got, what, 13 minutes until the opening range, the initial balance is set. It's attempting to move higher, but ES cannot get through its VWAP, cannot close through VWAP yet. We've got 5-day moving average right above it. They're just going to pin this in and wait for FOMC. Pin it in, trap liquidity, wait for FOMC, get everyone frustrated, and then probably go and run everyone out both sides. Back towards Globex again here. Does it get through Globex and go to VWAP is the question. Can it get through Globex? Globex high 55s or something. Globex low. Here's Globex. Can it get acceptance through this to get to VWAP or not? So tapping into Globex. So far, no acceptance through it. It's trying to get up to VWAP. It's what it wants to do. If it can get through VWAP, then it has a shot of going higher. But so far, no acceptance. Like Globex is holding up. You can see it's holding up. It's as clear as you like. Every time we're tapping into this orange box, is that lower time frame algo there? Yeah, with lower time frame algo, failing to get acceptance. Nvidia going to have another attempt, as is Tesla, by the looks of it, to try and get green. Liquidity on the book now at 960. Do they let this drift up to 960? That's the lower time frame algo. Yes, back to VWAP again and trying to build liquidity at VWAP again. No acceptance for ES through the 5-day moving average. Same for the SPY. No acceptance through the 5-day moving average. Getting stuck at Globex over and over and over again. It should be telling you a story here. Back to the orb it goes. Yeah, don't blame me, Peter. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm wondering just whether to not even bother looking at this screen at all. ES right on its VWAP. And it's been there for a while. It's doing the dance over, under, over, under, over, under. It cannot get through and break out. It's trying to build, it looks like it's trying to build liquidity to go higher, but we've seen sellers step in today a few times. And the fact that NQ cannot get through Globex low, can't get through London low is fairly telling so far. We're just balanced between the opening range high and the Globex low. No acceptance over or back inside of Globex. If we get acceptance inside of Globex, we probably go VWAP. If we go VWAP and we find a bid over 60s, I think there's a chance to get up towards previous day high. Right, but right now you've got to be careful of any pull move like that. It wouldn't surprise me, but if we get acceptance over here, I think this is possible, just based on where traders will then be trapped. I would not be surprised of a yank. We've seen it already. You've seen it happen today already. The market's already shown you. Volume starting to just taper off altogether right now as well. So we had that big yank earlier. That was the biggest volume in the day. And since then, it's just been slowly diminishing since like 9:50, 10 o'clock. Just slowly going down and down and down and down and down. What's that old M15 high? 60s. Yeah. I want to see if we can get up into 60s and how we act. 60s and 70s. So back to Globex again. Tapping Globex. Sellers there again. They keep selling Globex over and over and over again. How many times have we been there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 minutes we've visited this for. Keep tapping in, not being able to get through. It cannot get through. They are not letting it through that London low, which is 53, to get up to 61. And right now we trade straight back down to the opening range. If we get acceptance back inside the opening range, that means there's a failed auction above the opening range, which means we trade back downside. This is the market. It's going to chop everyone up who does not understand it, who's just impatient, looking for a trend which does not exist. We are inside bars. This is, we talked about at the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 5th day of being inside this range. Why are you suddenly going to get a trend day when you're inside with FOMC coming later? You're not. You're not going to get it. You are not listening to what the market's telling you if you're trying to force your way in. Tesla looks like it wants to attempt to go to red to green again. Nvidia lagging behind, a third of a percent down on the session. Did they just trap enough shorts in that last move? Can they get through Globex now? One more attempt. Here's Globex again. Can they get through it again? This is, I don't know. Here, finally, they get through Globex. Right, there's Globex. Now, does it have the ability to get through the lower time frame algo, which is what I want to see? Okay, can we get up to VWAP now? So low time frame algo, swept that liquidity. This will be key here. This guy here. All right, do they do this, or are they going to do this, which opens up this move here? This is potentially the only move I would be interested in. This less so. I think it's messy. I'll consider it. But this might offer a trade up to here if they get acceptance. Well, it'd have to be tiny size for me. Not looking to size into anything today. Not this morning. So finally inside Globex. So now we're inside Globex. Maybe we can trade for London high, which would be 20,031. That 20,000 is a big over-under level, though. We've got 5-day moving average there. VWAP coming up here. Higher time frame algo above it. Acceptance above that. Maybe we go for London. Maybe we go for previous day high. But just want to let this build out now. If I'm going to be interested, it's going to have to build out. Phenom, my practice account getting blasted. Yeah. It's all right to do it in there. Better to do it there than anywhere else, eh? Much better to do it in there than anywhere else. All right, so do they hold Globex now? Are they able to hold Globex now or not? ES already back down to VWAP. All right, ES did not get through. Tesla now gone green. Is Nvidia going to join? Is that it? Is that sweep enough? And they go back inside. Is that sweep enough and they go back inside? Or have they got more juice? Do they want to go for that London high? VIX finding a bit of a bid here. You need to see VIX break down here. And ideally, you want to see Nvidia go green and start to drive the market up with it. Otherwise, you are at risk of that sweep of that little print at 60s that we talked about. So if it holds Globex lows, we can print inside Globex and go for the next Globex level, which would be London. If it starts failing underneath, I'd be very, very concerned. Mirek saying, here she is, shocker. What is in the liquidity? Yeah, I know that's what you like, isn't it? That 60s. Question is, do you think it can go higher for the next level of liquidity higher, or are you thinking we rotate the range back down now? The ES is so ugly. I don't know if you can just pull this up. This is about as horrible as you get. But it's got the ability to do this to get up here if it wants. If it gets under here, these buyers become stuck and we go back down towards lower day. View up here on the Qs. I'm just wondering now that we've swept if we're going to go lower. I don't know. If we get acceptance higher, we can go for previous day high and London high. If we want to go low after rebalancing this H1, we go back down towards low of days to go risk off before FOMC. We will see. Time will tell. Nvidia, one more attempt to go green here by the looks of it. 0.04% down. If Nvidia goes green with a big push, market might get a little pop. ES going for that breakout now as well. It's trying to break out of New York high right now. There's a 5-day tap. ES now sweat the liquidity at the highs. Next few candles are going to be important here. Uh, 20,030 doesn't seem unreasonable here. Through VWAP. If they're going to squeeze it, it's probably where it's going to try and squeeze towards. VIX starting to break down. There is potential now that we're inside a Globex that can keep going higher. It can possibly drift up all the time. It's as long as it's holding that Globex range, sort of 50s, there is potential. Obviously, the positioning of VWAP is a little bit tricky here. Where was our New York open? Let's get one of these on you. All right, same level. So initial balance now set. High of day now is your initial balance, your current high of day right here. That's your IB. IB rules will apply. A reminder, you're still an inside day until it proves otherwise. You'll become an outside day above 27s, basically 30s. That's what I was saying. I think a drift up to there is possible if it wants to test the extremes. Yeah, I have 5-day around 994s, Raphael. So testing the initial balance here. So think about initial balance rules, auctions versus failed auctions, etc., etc. Market just completely slowed down. Nvidia now green. Does the market want to participate in a squeeze up? Here's your IB. Question is, does H1 get stuck here, or does it want to go for that double top sort of level at 32s? I want to see a pullback be absorbed if I'm going to really think about this. I want it to come back down towards Globex and be absorbed. I want ES to come back down towards VWAP and be absorbed. Because if it's not absorbed, then very possible we go back to rotation. Yeah, it's an enhanced chart trader from... what's he called? Someone help me out here in chat. Affordable indicators, that's it. The only reason I like it is because I can switch from mini to micro using the same chart on NinjaTrader. That's the main reason I like it. So I don't have to draw everything out 5 million times across all my charts. Okay, ES being absorbed in front of VWAP there, which is a good sign. If we're thinking about high, there's liquidity on the book at 80s here, 980s for that initial balance high. Do we build out some liquidity? If you're only using it for what I'm using it for, Aaron, if you just like it for the mini to micro switch, you can just get the basic one. There's loads of other features I don't use. The only reason I like it is the mini to micro switch, and the buy to click feature is pretty good for putting limits in or stop limits in. Okay, back down towards flow zones, back down towards the lower time frame algo, back down towards Globex. They need to hold these. If they don't absorb these, when we get back under it, there's very, very strong possibility of a rotation lower. So these are the key levels. It's really now or never. It has to hold this for the drift higher or it's game over. Still no trade for me yet. I'd like to get something in here if it will let me. It's a good absorption down there. Not convinced with how ES is shaping up versus IB right now. Just watching this hourly, this is what's, in my opinion, making it tricky. Drift up, getting stuck here. Now, if it wants to go for these stops, it can, but we're still stuck here. And we've got so long left before the next hour has the ability to do that. So I'm just kind of waiting right now. Still no trade for me yet. Do we build out sort of one of these to come up into here and here? Or are we going to get stuck and do this back down to here? Both possible, both very, very possible right now. That's why I'm just waiting. I want to be very, very careful. This is not an A+ trade. We're still inside of initial balance. We're still in an inside day. So I'm telling myself very, very much so rotation as possible. This market's job right now is to trap participants. That's its job before FOMC. How many participants can we get trapped in this market before the Fed? The more, the better, because then market makers can use it. If you think about, if everyone's trapped in here, just as an example, then it can easily do this, stop out all these buyers, they become sellers, and then the market buys against that, pairs off, and then goes upside, and then these sellers get liquidated and become buyers and help the market move higher, for example. So the more people that are stuck, the better for the big firms. ES still holding its view up again. Very, very ugly chart over there on ES right now. Book remains thin. All of the mag now green though. Nvidia has gone green, just 0.06% up, but it is green. Bulls will need a breakout of the high soon. They can't just keep sitting here and not getting a breakout. Then you're going to get a rotation day. VIX down towards low of day. ES not at high of day. So slight divergence there. Yeah, no worries, Quabs. I think it's very unlikely right now. Market failing to make a new high so far, just trading sideways on the ES while the VIX is breaking down. We should be breaking out here on the ES and we're not. So that's fairly telling. Still holding flow zones, still above the opening range, but still inside the initial balance. Just sat at the overnight VWAP right now. Oh, sorry. I moved my mouse accidentally. You're not missing anything, that's for sure. When there was nothing on the screens. Yeah, exactly, Mike. You're not missing anything. Like you're just not. Like, I'm not doing anything right now. Nothing going on. I'm just not interested in trading right now. I'm not like clicking buttons without you knowing. I just don't care. I think tomorrow, the best setups always come the day after. For me, I think the day after FOMC, the best setups. All right, back down towards Globex here. Do they find a bid here or not? Yes, back down to VWAP. Does it find a bid here or not? It's going to have to make some decisions soon. There is some absorption trying to take place at Globex for that trade back upside. But like when I look at the H1, I don't really like it. It puts me off quite a bit. $5.43. It's quite far. So do we build out a new flag here or inverse head and shoulder, or do we start to roll? We get under Globex and we start to get heavy, then any bullish scenario is off the table at that point. But look at the volume. It's just petered out. And then we did have a little spike on that last minute candle. And it got stuck at VWAP. I tell you what, I'm going to use the bathroom and then come back. There's nothing happening. I'm not worried right now. Yeah, no worries. All right. No, I will. I'll call you back. All right. Take care, mate. Cheers. Bye. Sorry, team. I got caught on a call from back home. All right, what have we got then? All right, failure under Globex. No acceptance above Globex right now. No acceptance above here. Drifting back down. Your opening range high is, which candle is this? 30s, basically here. All right, so that's your orb. Has a chance to do this, has a chance to rotate. So far, just an inside day. We're inside initial balance. We can drift all the way back down to here. This is your New York VWAP if it wants. So if it fails inside initial balance, that's where it can go. It has potential to go there if it wants to. ES failing its VWAP as well. We expect choppy conditions. This is why I say it all the time. QQQ already at its VWAP now. Nvidia starting to go red. Google starting to go red. Microsoft starting to go red. Back to the orb. Fail inside of orb. We can go lower. So if pops start to fail now, if they fail to absorb these levels where we found buyers this morning, if pops start to fail, we can go all the way back down towards lows. Can also absorb here and go all the way back up towards highs if it wants, right? So we just have to see. They're starting to let go of it. Starting to get very, very heavy here on the tape. Joined this small size for a wash. First trade of the day. Looking to see if we can take out 900s here back towards the New York Open. ES getting very heavy. VIX starting to try and get through 2450s. Want to see that get going aggressively. Peeling some off into that liquidity there at 08s. See if pops fail here or not. Don't want this to reclaim the orb. Reclaim the orb and I'll be out, but I already locked in 80% of my money there. If we stay heavy versus 35s, might be a rejoin. If we get through 35s but stay heavy versus 50s, might be a rejoin. Watching SPY at VWAP. Oh, nice flush here. Here we go. Watching New York Open here if we can trade into 900s. So they built all this liquidity to be swept. Shame I wasn't in here. This here was a nice break. But if we can get a pop to fail now, we're looking for this move here. Ideally, that pop fails into this if we do it. Otherwise, I'm just in runners. Here we go. New York Open. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Point of control coming up from yesterday. Want to be trimming more into there. Not got too many left now. To wait for it, we've got a trade. As soon as I came back, it set up. It was a little bit of a chase because I was a little bit late, but watching the VIX start to go and the ES made sense. SPY stuck underneath VWAP right now. Want to pop up here to see if I can get some more size on. Want a bit of a push higher to see if I can get more size on. I'm not going to give it, are you? There's New York. Not going to give it. Get up. Always weird how my Ninja Trader New York Open is so different to TradingView. Previous day close coming. Back to point of origin. We need a push higher to sell into if we're going to get any more size in. Not going to chase the lows here. Are you really going to leave me with no size on? Yeah, bugger. So all of the market other than Amazon and Meta now red. Oh my God. What a bleed. Did any of you guys get this while I was away? Any of you take that Globex failure on the rotation? Once it failed here at Globex, it became fairly obvious we were going to rotate. Need a push up to sell into. Cannot be chasing these lows now. 1 micro here. Need a drive up now. And you'd need to see ES fail in front of sort of 48s. We'd want to fail here in front of 30s. They have gone full on risk off here, back towards yesterday's close. If we can't get higher, I'm not going to be able to get any more size on to attack the IB low and low of day, which is going to suck. It's just full on liquidation. All these bulls now trapped in this market. Here we go. IB low coming. Watching this level here. If we snap hard, we can go down to previous day low. There's the sweep. Be careful how we act here now, folks. Be careful how we act here. Your low-hanging fruit's just gone. We've just done it in one big move, straight down. Look how we've gone straight down. Still in. Try and move my stop aggressively underneath the IB here. All right, out here on my runner. We'll re-attack it if we can stay heavy. For that move down to previous day low, if we can stay heavy. Watching ES as well. ES is coming back to PDC. It never closed its gap this morning, so it might be that ES is going to go for that gap fill back down to 25s. Remember, ES and SPY did not close their gaps. So it might be that they're just trying to be efficient. So you need to be thinking about being risk off into that move. As in, if you're short, you need to be thinking about starting to cover. This is a big wash down. Make sure you've paid yourself some money. Retesting of the IB across the indexes here. Very careful here. SPY very close now. Or sorry, the ES very close to PDC. SPY's got a little bit further to go. You cannot be adding at lower day here. Cannot add at low of day here. Initial balance is that purple line right here. So ES got very close to settlement there. Settlement is 625.75. We just traded into 626.75. So it's 1 point away. We need a drive higher to short into if we're going to think about a continuation short lower. It's just not giving us anything right now. Market very, very heavy here. We are basically at settlement now. ES has basically closed that gap, which it hadn't closed earlier. SPY has not closed its gap. ES has closed its gap. Just be aware of that. So watch how we act here at the initial balance. If it squeezes through the initial balance, we can have a failed auction go all the way upside. Obviously, there's been a straight move down. Didn't build any structure out on this move down. VIX now at just underneath 25s. Want to see if VIX can start to reprice higher. But finding some bids here in front of PDC on the ES. Do we go down to previous day low? I need a drive higher to get into. I didn't get enough size on, unfortunately. One of those things. Staying heavy versus initial balance, though. Be very careful. The thing that I'm watching here is ES and SPY into PDC. If they start finding bids once they close the gap, then I think you get that move up to sell into when it's finished. Well, maybe not even to sell into. It might just go back inside the range for the day. I chased the short. I chased the short down here once we started breaking down. As soon as I got back to the screens and I saw the sell and we'd started to break down, I chased the short, started covering into here and here and here and here, and I'm fully out now. So I'm waiting to see if it offers me a new chance to get short. ES and SPY have not quite closed the gap. Here's the relief higher. Don't want to get caught short in the lows, like I said. Here's initial balance. ES already reclaiming initial balance. How high can we squeeze now? Do we go back up to PDC? Do we go back up to New York VWAP? Do we go back up to anywhere up here? Think about a fib. You can afford to let it build out. If it wants to just squeeze all the way back up, remember, we've got no structure. Straight down and go straight back up if it really wants to. Book is so thin. Like, it is so thin looking above. It is gross what they're doing with this book the last few sessions. It's not just this session. It has been a few sessions now where I keep saying there's no one at home. Look at that thin air above 75 if you're looking at the book map. It's just black. There was an order there. He pulled the order at 900. It's just black. So looking for a bounce to fade into if it will offer it. I want to be very careful, though, if they just go all the way upside. So looking for a bounce, set up sort of like head and shoulder or bear flag that I can think about putting some size into. So far, just stuck at the initial balance. I expect us to pop this, though, given that they've got 3 wicks there at 60. VIX back to 77s. Does it find a bid here on PDC on the VIX, that is? Do we fail initial balance here for that move lower? Can we build out some form of structure here? 2-leg ideally higher before selling into, but who knows? PDL is probably where it wants to go if it can build out. VIX trying to build a 5-minute flag here to go higher. I really need this to go higher for me to get size on. Watch the spread here as well, folks. If we start to get thin, be careful with the spread. If you sized in versus IB, it probably looks pretty good right now. I was looking for a little pop through these first. I wanted to see this. But this is starting to play out for a move down to here. This is where you should be looking. Can you get a move down into PDL right now? That's what I'd be looking for. Looks good. Here we go. So ES and SPY have now closed the gap. Just be aware of that. If we find a bid here, it's because they've closed the gap and they're finding bids there. If we're going to get under the gap fill, if we're going to get heavy on the SPY and the ES, we can think about that move to previous day low. VIX now trying to approach that 25. Remember, 25.25 will be a real clean breakout on the VIX if we can get that. Increased selling pressure here. You can see it. We're really starting to sell much heavier. But these are the big levels on the spiders right now. These gap fill levels we're at right now, these are big levels. A little extended from these flow zones. So SPY now fully filled, trading back upside, finding a bid off that gap fill on the SPY. VIX now approaching 25s. Need to see how we act here. These are like, I know I keep saying it, but it's massive for this market. If we're going to go down to previous day low, if we get acceptance under previous day low, we go leg down. they're going to go risk off into FOMC. How long we got left? I've still got an hour left. What's this hourly bar? Oh, got to think about this. These old hourly lows here at 800s. Need to be very, very careful here. Very, very careful here. Yes, now underneath its PDC SPY not. SPY has traded under it and is trying to reclaim it. VIX now 24.99. Watching VIX for 25 break and then a 25.25 break. 25.20, 25.25 break will probably let this market get heavier down towards PDL. We are extended away from flow zones here. We had one back test of IB. I probably fluffed it not getting in there at that point. That's offered a decent trade, 50 odd points since that. So well done if you took that IB retest, that little flag here. That offered you a good trade. Bang, bang. And you should be holding runners down into here. So there's the reaction from the SPY on the PDC. And there is VIX getting slammed at 25. So traded up to 24.99, couldn't get through it. Big reaction there. All right, so how we act now at the initial balance is key. Remember, if it starts trading back through the initial balance, we're just a failed auction and we go all the way back upside. Remember, there's a lack of structure down here. This can be a trappy inside day. Previous day close, PDC, previous day close. Did we sweep that H1 level? What is that wick there? 20, or maybe it's at 800s. I still think we can move lower here. There's a move to previous day low if they're going to get acceptance underneath the closure on the ES and the spiders. That's what's going to be key, whether it's going to dictate it. We haven't had much relief since this sell so far. Market all red other than Amazon, 2% up. Relative strength, absolute beast. And Meta, 0.2% up. Yes, approaching its initial balance. Remember, if we start squeezing, there has not been much structure in here. There's a lack of structure right now. Yes, right back to IB. VIX holding its PDC right now. I still think we can trade back down to previous day low. It's just if we can find a way of getting there. Bears will need a break of structure to the downside here. It needs to come and get a closure underneath sort of 800s, really, basically. If it can't do that, bears will get stuck at this low of day. But ES, good rejection on initial balance low there so far. Can we get this break of structure here? This is key now for the market sentiment for the remainder of the day. Can we go lower towards previous day low? How do we act once we get to previous day low? We know there's a lot of liquidity down at previous day low. Yes, trying to absorb PDC. Watching the book, still so thin. Here we go, liquidation now, bang. All right, I'm in this. Taking a partial here, just in case they get stuck here. And I want to try and see if we can get down to previous day low. So taking a partial quickly in that 800. I know it's a big level. Why do I know it's a big level? I'm looking at the higher time frame. Where are the stops? Right here. See this H1 level? We just liquidated this guy. All right, so any buyers here, their stops basically just got tagged into. So I'm taking a partial here, looking to see if we can trade down into here. If we trade under here, remember what we said this morning. Two things. This, just like yesterday, or this for the liquidation break lower. Remember, this is the edge of the 5-day balance range. It is massive. What are we going to do here? Are we going to trap and go inside, or are we going to liquidate lower? Talked about this right at the beginning of the show today. So partial out into there because we've liquidated those H1 players. Khaled, what's an IB high and IB low? It's the first hour of trading, all right? So the first hour of trading, the extremes set. This is your lowest point in the first hour. This is your highest point. So when we're inside this, we expect rotation. Now, there are plays that we can look at. There's a free video on my YouTube where you can do the course. But really, if we fail an IB high, we expect a rotation to VWAP up. If we fail VWAP up, we expect a rotation to IB low. If we get stuck at IB low, we look for a continuation. All right. If we get outside, continuation, outside, continuation, failures inside, rotation. So they dictate the potential to go into trend. All right. To go into trend in the session or to go into rotation. I didn't enter at the top. I wasn't even here. I wasn't here to enter at the top. I was on the phone call. I entered somewhere around here. Right, as soon as I came back and I saw us selling aggressively and I saw momentum go through. Oh, it's not going to let me draw, is it? Once momentum went through deep flow zones, I started joining here and I was covering. Missed this. I just entered here a minute ago, so I'm now holding for the move down to here. I've already paid myself, already locked in money. It's not a false accusation. I did call it as soon as I got back. I said entering here, strong selling. And I said I'm late to the party. Hopefully some of you got it here. I mean, we talked about this while I was gone. If we fail and come back inside Globex, you get a rotation. I said that. I said it so many times on stream. You will need to get this for outside, this for inside. If you guys don't understand that and you need me to call that out for you, you need to do the course, okay? Because you need to be able to see what's happening without me holding your hand, telling you what's going on. Because what happens when I'm not here, Quabs? So just have a look. All right, I'm going to show you what I keep looking at. This is my one on my other screen. This is... Yes, this is SPY. See how they closed? Oh, where have we gone? See how they closed the gaps for the first time today, the yellow line. All right, that's your gap fill. Those were left open. We talked about that earlier as well. Those were left open on the spiders. They were not open on the Qs. So that's what we've just done. We've gone and filled the gap. The market's now efficient. Now it has to decide if we build liquidity out here for a trend day lower to previous day low, or if we're just, going to sweep all those guys out and go back upside. No worries, Khaled. So not locking in too much now. I'm up, 1,1400 quid or something. At least we got a trade. If I was at the desk, I would have taken that trade for the Globex fail versus the IB high. I think that was a nice trade. I was a little bit late, but that's fine. So lots of internal highs here at 60s, 59s and 60s that might want to be popped. VIX is still just basing out here at PDC. It can still make a 5-minute flag or an inverted head and shoulder on the VIX if it wants to. I wouldn't mind seeing a drive higher fail rather than just like drifting lower. I wouldn't mind seeing something like this and then fail, because then we get buyers trapped above here and we can use their stops as pain to go lower. If we're just going to do this, it's going to be a little bit awkward. This will be a little bit like this. Right? At some point, people will get liquidated who chase in. Remember, to move lower, we like structure like this. We want structure built out like this to move lower. We don't want it just to build downside. But flow zones are starting to catch up now, which is nice to see. You're still seeing more aggressive selling on the tape than buying for now, but it's starting to even out the last couple minutes. Here's a retest towards this low of day. ES back down towards PDC again. Oh shit, yeah, you're right. What did happen to Google? 5% down. That's dragged the market. What was that? Good eyes. Why didn't I see that? Apple has a revenue share agreement with Google Lens for AI feature. Apple Microsoft moved to a year-to-year search agreement. Google midday. Apple exploring AI search to its browser. So I think it's just Apple taking market share away from Google from what I can see. Apple exploring adding AI search to its browser. Yeah, that was it. Just taking market share away from Google, basically. That was it. It's quite a big move considering what that news is. Okay, still looking good here. New low of day here. Can we get down towards previous day low into 7? What's that exact level? 738. Can we get down into 738? That seems like the obvious area the market's trying to get to right now. VIX now trying to go. Right, 25's here on the VIX. Can VIX get through 25.25 or 25.20? That would be telling. If the VIX can hold a bid above those levels, this market will go risk off. We are likely to get previous day low if that happens. Couldn't see my orders then. I was like, what is going on? So PDC on SPY and ES will remain key. We are into higher time frame demand. You can see this blue box, but we'd like to trade down to previous day low if we can get there. But this is a level we bid off yesterday, so just be aware about that. If you haven't taken a partial already, now is a good time to be thinking about taking a partial. Like we said, this is not how you want to see liquidity being built, going straight down like this. This is not ideal. It opens yourself up to a squeeze when that happens. So you've got to pay yourself if you've been short side along the way. You want to see drives up be sold into. You don't want to see what you're currently seeing on the VIX, where it's had a swipe up and it's got stuck again underneath 25. It cannot get close above 25 yet. No worries, Mike. Just time in the market will give you more confidence with that. Time in the market. Still think there is a move lower here. Feels like a bit of an overreaction on Google, though, I will say, having read that news. So I want to be careful. So here we go. Here's the squeeze back up, like we said, not building liquidity how you would want to see it for bears. You want to see bear flags being built, not straight down channels, because you open yourself up for this. So ES now reclaiming, SPY reclaiming PDCs. They're going to trade back up towards the initial balance highs. Remember, above initial balance highs, a squeeze is possible because we're very thin in how we've acted. So you would need to see them protect that, basically. Still think we can move down to previous day low, but we are at higher time frame demand. You have to respect it. If pops start to fail, maybe there's a chance to do it. But you have to respect what we're doing right now. Can we get back down to previous day low? That's the question. Still holding, looking for that move. Want to see a breakdown here. Come on, market. Don't like what I'm seeing there. Wanted to see that drive lower at that point after that last wick high, that rebalance, and we didn't. Holding this structure here is not what I want to see, so I'm taking that position off. I don't like the hold of this. So I can always re-enter because now I feel like they've trapped. They needed this candle there, needed to come and take this out. So I'm risk off right now, flat and waiting. If they come back in, I can always rejoin. Obviously, location getting worse and worse and worse and worse to be a seller, and better and better and better to be a buyer in here until we break down, and then you want to get short side again. You want to break down, retest, stay heavy. Again, this is not what you want to see for shorts. This opens up the squeeze. This is exactly the same as this. This is not what you want to see for longs. You don't want it to do this. You want it to build like this. You don't want it to go straight up because then you open this up. So if shorts and shorts and shorts come in, the moment we get a failed breakdown, we can squeeze out. And then hopefully bulls chase in, and then we get that move maybe at a better location. VIX trying to hold around 25, so it's at 24.95 now. It would become so much easier, this move, if VIX can just break out of 25.25. Again, the book above, I mean, look at that black hole. Above 850 to 950, there's just nothing. There is nothing. Big sell order at 950 right now. This H1 definitely did the damage. We came into that higher time frame demand. We talked about it. This level here, this has been here all day. Buyers, buyers. We swept so far. Buyers would like to see us come down and take these out. And then if I'm going to stay short, I want to see that. If we're going to trap, I'm going to join long for that move. Probably won't do it today. I probably won't join long or short today because I won't be here for it. But that's what I'd be watching for FOMC from a technical standpoint. You can see how key settlement is on the spiders, though. Really, really obvious how key it is. Trying to trade back over it now to see if they can get back to the IB high. So not huge trade for me, that, unfortunately. Probably missed the ideal entry. But, I don't know. Still locked in $1,400. Could be worse. I've got to not have money dysmorphia. It's still a good day. I'm trying to sell this again now. I want to be very careful here. This is starting to get a little bit whipsawy. If sellers fail to get that breakdown, that's where they're going to get trapped. That's the second wick we've seen like that be absorbed. Trying to catch up on this news. Apple looked at Anthropic, DeepSeek, Grok, and Perplexity for AI. Apple has no intention of making its own general search engine. So that's probably going to calm it down with Google a bit. So Apple's using Microsoft's searching, is it? By the sounds of it. Revenue agreement with Google Lens for AI feature. Revenue agreement with Google Lens for AI. So there you go. There's the bounce back that we talked about. This is what you expect. Failure to break the low. Failure to break the low. Clearing these lot out. We can build liquidity in here now. And it can be used both sides. Low-hanging fruit traders gone in terms of PDC. Only thing left now is PDL. ES rejecting the initial balance low there. To the tick. Some heavier selling coming in here now. It's trying to be paired off, though. Thank you. They're trying to pair this selling off. You can see it on the volume. Just put it next door. ES going back towards IB. Remember, we trade inside of IB. It might want to trade up towards that old pivot 36s if it gets through that. We are open here for a squeeze. All right, if it gets through initial balance, we built no structure out in here, so we are open to a little squeeze out. All right, so imagine it gets through. Move my drink so I can see my mouse. If we get through here, something like this can happen. Sellers can come back in. PDC 50%, VWAP, VWAP, New York Open, old point of control. All these things matter. Value area low on the session I have at around 62s. So yeah, a little sweep of that might do it. Just remember, you're at the edge of the range. Think about the daily candles. Look at the last 5 days. You're at the edge of that old balance range. You have that gap underneath to Wednesday last week. I think it's Wednesday. Yeah. You have that gap underneath to Wednesday close, which would take you basically to 650. It would need to fail previous day low to do that. So there's 100 points available if we stay heavy under previous day low. Google continuing to sell here. It feels like an overreaction. In my mind, anyway, given the news I've read. Just watching the VIX here. See how it acts. Watching ES and spiders into PDC. They're just trapped between PDC and initial balance right now, so I don't really want to execute something new in this level. Yeah, I mean it is, but that balance range is, but like they can still protect it. I agree with you, but the neckline's not broken yet, but it has the potential to break, absolutely. But you saw what happened yesterday when shorts piled in at that neckline saying this is an obvious head and shoulders. They got absolutely ripped to the upside. Can we get down to PDL here? Still holding those 800s. There's no one on the book at 800s to hold it. There's nothing there. Like a 16 lot? Really? Really? A 16 lot? Like this is thin. The 800s is basically the equivalent of ESPDC right now. That's what it's holding. So we've got to see if ES and SPY want to participate here to go lower or not. If they hold this, they can create that sort of inverted head and shoulders to go higher. And they're trying to hold it. No acceptance underneath PDC yet. Still only a 15 lot at 800. Should trade through him. We should really be trading through him. He's not big. He is tiny. Should just snap through 800 here. Shouldn't be trying to absorb it. Shouldn't be this hard. There's no one there. This is all on the ES and SPY at PDC. That's all that really matters. I'm not really watching NQ here. 800 is not big on the book. Are we going to get acceptance on ES and SPY underneath PDC for a rotation to PDL? That's all that matters right now. They keep bidding off it. They're trying again and again and again and again. Amazon 1.69% up, Meta 0.5% up, everything else red. Here's another bid off the PDC again on the spiders. Volume tapering down a little bit here. What was that big volume bar? High 21s. Feels like it's coming. I would be watching ES at 23s. If they let go 23s, you're going to go low of day. Finding a bid there at PDC again. You can see the battle. Just look at ES and SPY. Look at PDC, look at IB high, look at the battle. If they build this out, it's an inverted head and shoulders. They can build a high low. They can go and sweep IB high. If they fail PDC, they probably go back down towards low of day. That's the battle. Think we go low day? I mean, on what? NQ? I mean, you're basically there already. You're there right now. They caught PDC again. They caught PDC again. You're starting to see some tapering here. Strong trend starting to go more sideways. This is where people get stuck. Oh, on S&P. Yeah, maybe. It all depends on that PDC. It held 620. You got to see that left leg before 22.75. Then it held 620. Since then, you've had no close underneath PDC. I think it's coming as well, but what I think and what it does are not the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to respect the chart. Look at every time it gets down there. There must. I'm not watching the tape on ES, but there must be a refresh buyer down there because every single time it gets down there, they are absorbing that bid. And there is no one on NQ absorbing it. Every single time it's being absorbed. Look how many times you've had an attempt to go down there now. 1, 2, 3, 4 5-minute bars have attempted to get under PDC and failed. And when I say attempted, they've come and wicked it. So it really doesn't matter what you think or I think or anyone else thinks. All that matters is what's happening. And right now, it's not doing it. And you have to think like that as a trader. Because if you think something and you get married to it, you're like, well, I think it's going to do this. Well, the market doesn't give two flying you-know-whats. And if it does the opposite and you're too married to what you think's going to happen, you'll learn some pain. Well, I don't know what your entry point is. I don't know what your setup is. I don't know what you're looking for. Thinking it's going to go somewhere is one thing, but what are you risking? Where's your entry? Doesn't matter where you think it's going to go if you can't find a good way to enter. So what are you risking off? Because I can see a lot of stops here at 32s and 33.75s right now on the ES that it might want to come and pop. Google now 6.22% down. Wow, that thing's getting absolutely wrecked. Crazy. Yeah, well, that's good. AIM test, that's good. If you can't find an entry, you shouldn't be trading. That's exactly what I'm saying. You just got diminishing volume down here now. Remember, if this H1 wants to rebalance all the way up to 19,910, it can. It's just how it is. I would prefer to see this go previous day low before it thinks about doing anything else. But again, what I would like to see and what the market does are not always the same thing. In fact, frequently they are not the same thing. We're still holding flow zones. We're still underneath initial balance. But ES, look at this. Look at SPY and ES. They will not let go of PDC. That is telling you the story. Absolutely telling you the story. It's why daily levels matter. Settlement matters. And look at VIX. Can it get over 25? No, it cannot. Every attempt up there this morning has been sold into on the VIX. Make life easy for yourself. Just wait. Just wait for a clear indication that, you know, ES wants to move lower under PDC, that VIX wants to move higher under over 25s. Until that point, make life easy for yourself. Just sit and wait. Or don't trade, or go and do something else. I'll be getting off soon. Lunchtime in just under 30 minutes. I won't be trading FOMC. I will be watching Arsenal hopefully beat PSG. You are seeing tapering take place here. You are seeing tapering on these markets. PDC test again here on ES. Again absorbed on the SPY. Has anyone got that book up or SPX up? Is there a big wall order there? Can someone let me know? Is someone just absorbing? It's got to be a massive level. There's no way we do this dance this long without that being a huge, huge level. So another retest of it. Another retest of it. Another retest. That 625's got to be huge. 626, 625 has got to be absolutely massive. Another retest and absorb of it. Oh my days. This is insane. They don't want to let it go before FOMC, clearly. NQ should trade down to 90. That's where the liquidity is, and it's not. And the reason it's not is just because of ES. Look at that again. Ashpool, yes. Yes, what? Yes, there's a big level there. What's the level and what's the order? What is it on the options chain? I think it's got one more attempt here to break down, and if it doesn't, you see a ginormous squeeze. If they don't let go of this very, very soon, I think you see an absolute disgusting candle, because people are getting stuck here without a doubt. So you either get a snap of that level or you get a horrible squeeze up. Here it goes. Again, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25 flat, 25 flat, 25 flat, 24, 25. Are they going to let go of it now? Or are they going to do that move? 2450s, 2475s. They're trying to reclaim. If they stay heavy on the reclaim, then you go low of day. If they reclaim that PDC, this thing probably just retraps. There's PDC, 26, 25. They reclaimed. I would not be touching this at all right now. Oh, you're talking about the match. Oh, sorry, Ash. We better win, man. I really fancy our odds against Inter. What game that was, by the way. Anyone that watched that yesterday. Fantastic. That's one of the best Champions League games I've ever seen. About as Italian as you can get, isn't it? Like, let's create as much drama as possible. Like, how do they go 2-0 up at home to take the win and then go 2-1, 2-2, 3-2 down? Like, let's level it up in the 93rd minute and then go and win it. That is as Italian as you get. It is as Italian as you get there. All right, same levels here, but I think shorts are a little bit trapped right now. Watching the ES versus that daily level, they do not want to let it go. It's drifting up to IB. I would say shorts are trapped. There's probably a squeeze coming here soon for a relief rally. ES probably wants to come and take out those stops, which are just above the IB. So 31s and 33.50s, probably looking for a stop run up there. And maybe sellers come back in after that. I don't know. For me, I'm probably done for the day. Mate, I watched that film because I love Danny Dyer. It's so bad, that film. Is it like that in the UK? Yeah, it's like that in the UK. The one-liners in that film are terrible. If you like Danny Dyer, though, you should watch films like The Business. That's a great film. I like The Business. Who's fighting Danny Dyer, mate? Like, they come up with so many like random words for gear in that film. So ES popped one level of stops there, back to its initial balance. I think it's going to pop the rest soon. You can see liquidity on NQ is just coming at 90, just under 90, 85s and 80s. Selling liquidity, sell sides up at 30 and 40 right now. No one else on the book. So they're trying to let it go higher to go lower, in my opinion. They want to pop some stops to go lower. I'm not touching any of this. I know. He's fit for. He's allowed to play this game, though, isn't he? Is he playing today? He's fit because he was suspended last round. That made such a difference. He's such an idiot getting that yellow card in the quarters for no reason. Like, so stupid. So stupid. It really cost us the last game. John Dennis, Inter versus Barca game was great. Yeah, it was. That is one of the best Champions League games I've ever seen. There goes ES. Right, back to IB. Can it just get a little squeeze out here before getting smacked? What a finish it was as well, John. Like, what a finish. Yeah, Andrew, if you like those films, watch The Business. That's with Danny Dyer in. Watch what's the sequel to Essex Boys? It's gonna kill me. Jess, what's the Essex Boys film that we watch? About with Terry, who owns Garage Nation, when he wears that stupid wig in the film. Something Soldier, Foot Soldier, Foot Soldier. There you go. Belden knows it. Rise of the Foot Soldier. Watch those films. In fact, watch the Rise of the Foot Soldier Marbella. Here goes the ES. So here's the squeeze I was talking about. Just cleared everyone out. So hopefully you guys have seen that. I was stopped you of getting short for that. You can see the tapering. Look at the ES. Let's move you over to the ES chart. I'll show you what I was looking at. That is not the ES chart I was looking for. This one here. Okay, you can see here the absorption. This is where shorts got stuck, under here. Here's the PDC. Absorbed, 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 absorbed. What's this? Right shoulder, head, left shoulder. What's this? Strong move, tapering, 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 squeeze. All right, where's structure? There's no structure until up here. So we're in no man's land now. Like I said, this can squeeze out, take all these short stops out before finding failure to come back down. So hopefully that made sense for you all. If you're like, damn, how does he see this stuff? How does he understand that? Just do the course. Do yourself a favor and do the course. Save me having to sit here with you every day and try and explain it. Do the course and then you'll see it. So when I'm not in the screens, you can understand. Am I in the UK? No, I'm still in Los Angeles address. Also, Andrew, Rise of the Foot Soldier, the main character is Ghost from Call of Duty, so you'll recognise the voice. But if you do Rise of the Foot Soldier Marbella, he says see you next Tuesday at least once a minute for 90 minutes in that film. Over 100 times. It's brilliant. If it reclaims IB, what on the cues? it's tricky because of how we're trading differently. Let's go from high of day. See, this is your sell IB from high of day, VWAP from high of day. If you were looking for this, like the difference is on the Qs, you've got this here, PDC here, VWAP, New York. On ES, you're already through, like the positioning of it is different. So the long on ES for the squeeze was better than it was on the Qs. The reason for that is probably because Google is down heavy, and obviously Google's way heavier weighted in the Qs. So I don't love the long relief here. I'm going to be honest for the NQ. The long relief on the ES looked much better. Maybe it comes up to here. Maybe it sweeps these guys, pops up into there and finds a failure. If not, 61 fib is also the New York VWAP, is also the New York Open. So I think any short from 880 to 900, as long as you wait for the failure, is probably a good short based on the current range. It doesn't have to get up there though. What's it like watching the Champions League at noon? Well, I'm sober for it, so that's a good thing. Yeah, you get used to it. Like all the football's early here. Like Premier League, I have to get up at 6 a.m. if I'm going to watch it. Same with the rugby. It's not the same as going to the Emirates, though. Well, I know today's at PSG, but or going to a pub in London. It's very different. No one here watches soccer the same way. Soccer. And you can't hurl abuse at people here. They get very offended. I went to watch Arsenal United. You've probably heard me talk about that pre-season. Started singing some songs, got looked at like as a complete lunatic. Yeah, Human Traffic's a great film. There's a sequel to that came out a couple of years ago as well. I bought a small position, 19,793, 793. Oh, what an entry that is. I'm guessing you bought this right here versus this, this here versus this. That's a very nice entry. Just make sure you're taking some partials into here. You've got that sell VWAP here and initial balance and these highs at 860. So, you know, you're up quite nice there. You're up like 60 points. Make sure you take a partial into this. If it squeezes over, you can just hold your runner for this move up into these levels here. But, you know, it can do this if it wants to. It can sweep that versus these and come back down. So you've got to pay yourself there. Especially that old H1 low is 57s. Right, so if we're going to go wick to wick, I'd be watching this here, which we came very close to. This wick here, 57s. Value area low is also around there. So if we start getting acceptance through value area low, maybe you drift upside. And you can see this higher time frame, how important understanding higher time frame demand. And this was the low hanging fruit for me, wasn't it? 800, this H1 level. So we're starting to get stuck here, like I said. Where are we getting stuck? This anchor. Where's this anchor from? High of day. Right, this is why anchor VWAPs can be so useful. High of day, anchor VWAP. This is average price of sellers from the high of day. This is your initial balance. All the time we stay outside of initial balance, we are thinking about moves downside. So this can be building liquidity to move downside. This can open up a squeeze further. But like I said, the squeeze on ES was better. Look at ES. That was a beautiful squeeze on ES. Yeah, exactly, Bolan. Exactly. But my house is actually right by the O's Stadium in Leighton. I still have it, but I rent it out. So selling, heavy selling coming in there. You can see increased volume on the sell. Now, do they hold this at 800s again, or are they going to let it go? You're in the same game here on ES. Remember, if ES has created a head here on this last drive out and goes sideways for a bit, you get a right shoulder for a liquidation event to go back down to previous state low. So it's going to have to make up its mind here, this market. Here's PDC again on the ES, right? So you had that squeeze out, find some sellers up higher above the stops and coming back down to PDC again on the ES. The book is so thin, guys. I can't explain it. It should not look like this. Normally it does not look like this. PDC again here on ES. Again here on ES. If they start breaking down here, you probably get that low of day move. Low of day, sorry, PDL move. ES again here. Starting to break down now. Previous day low is your target now. That's why I said, I can't remember who said they were long. You had to take partials for that reason. We came right into the anchor, right into deep pullback, right into initial balance. The better squeeze was on the ES, just because of how it's set up. If we let go now, we go PDL. So if pops start to fail now, you are going to get that move to previous day low, which is 38s, 738s. Oh, really, Bowden? Yeah. Oh, I miss it, man. I miss it. It's good fun. Do you live close to the stadium, Bowden? SPY still holding PDC. You can see it bouncing right off PDC right now. It's trying to find a bid. We're in higher time frame demand. Here goes the VIX 2482s. Again, if VIX can go sideways for a little bit, it can build out an inversion right shoulder for that drive to 25s and 2520s. Nothing's changed. 2520s is the break you need to see on the VIX if you're thinking about something to go much, much deeper this afternoon. You're back in towards low of days here. Google now over 7% down. That thing is getting absolutely whacked. How long? 10 minutes to lunch now as well. Same level here on the ES and the spiders again. Nothing's changed. You're looking at the same levels, those PDC levels. They're trying to sell them this time, though. That is the difference. Liquidation event coming up here by the feel of it. Can we take out lows? Oh, we just took out lows there. Sorry, just see that now. We took out lows there on NQ by a point or two. Didn't take them out yet on ES. So you've got divergence here in ES against NQ. Do you get follow through to previous day low? Or are we going to just sweep the lows and turn back inside? Grow outside of Uxbridge. I went to Brunel University, so I know Uxbridge well. I know Uxbridge very well, mate. Nice, John. So failing to take out the lows there on the ES and the SPY, still absorbing on the PDC. It drifted under it and it's found a bid. NQs took out low of day but failed to stay heavy at low of day for that print to previous day low. We remain in higher time frame demand. Nothing has really changed here. And VIX still cannot get through 25s, and we're what, just 8 minutes away from lunch, folks. Back towards flow zones. I can't explain how thin this liquidity is. It is disgusting. Does this go all the way back upside now off this? No one on the book. There's literally no one on the book. You're looking at tiny, tiny lot sizes. This is like earlier when they did that pull and went right back up. It's the same thing. There is no one at home. Yes, back to initial balance. Trying to reclaim initial balance now. Look, just squeezing straight back up. This is what I mean. Look at the book. Right? If you look at the level 2, you can see it. There's no one. There's literally no one playing right now. So it can move really quick off nothing. All the way back up now we go. What a gross, gross day we're having here. Hardly surprising, is it? Hardly surprising. We expect horrible action on FOMC mornings. If they break the IB now, there is a squeeze up higher potential to the next VWAP level. If they start breaking above this, they can come all the way up here. Would it surprise me? No. It would not surprise me at all. Google trying to claw some back. Maybe that's why. Now only 6.72% down. Still ridiculous how much down it is off that news. I really don't see that news being that bad. Bit of an overreaction there. So you got a BPR here. Some of you that trade ICT stuff, starting to build out a BPR. ES now above the initial balance. It looks like it's going to squeeze higher here. This is disgusting. There's no sellers on the book. There's no one around. No participants on this book at all. They're just trapping and building liquidity for later. So failing to get that breakdown underneath the lows. We took out low of day, but we couldn't get to previous day low. That's probably where they trap more people. We had divergence versus the ES in that move. ES never moved down. Held the PDC back above the initial balance. Now trading sideways. Now needs to make its decision. If it pulls back and holds the initial balance, it can set a squeeze for up higher. If it doesn't hold the initial balance, it goes back down to PDC. And I'm just going to keep saying the same things over and over and over again because that's the market condition we're currently in. So here's the IB retest on the ES, absorbing so far off it. So if those sellers, those short players have become buyers now and they're trapped, we go upside. There's the pullback right to it, right to IB there. These are the key levels. Do they hold this for the upside squeeze or are they going to let it go? This is literally what it's deciding right now. So absorbing, like we just talked about, potential squeezes on here for this market if it's going to hold the initial balance on the ES. Look at the VIX, just an absolute piece of crap. Like I said, it just set price alerts on the VIX. 2520s, that's your price alert. Terrible market. ES coming back down towards IB for one more back test. If it holds this, we squeeze. If it lets go, you know where you're going. But you can see a very clear RBS on ES there. It's so ugly. Like I can't imagine trying to trade this market in these ranges. People just getting absolutely chomped to pieces. So IB retest here on the Qs now as well, trying to break out of this IB on the Qs. Does it have a squeeze potential to go higher here? Absolutely. Can it do it? Who knows? You're into lunchtime. You're into lunchtime. Expect more games. Expect more games. Nice, John. Good work. Yeah, I'm about to shut it down here. Nice work. There's the IB test. I don't think this market has a clue what it wants to do, which is not surprising. Like, do we go risk on or risk off into FOMC, or do we just chop and chop and chop? Chop makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense to chop into FOMC and trap people. It's what it makes sense to do. Oh, Google slammed, man. 7.2% down. Ooh, it's getting shaky here at the initial balance. Does a pullback hold, or do they just dump it back down to low of day and wreck everyone who's trying to chase it back up? Nice, Andrew. Hit your goal for the day. Thanks, mate. Yeah, hopefully we go okay in the game. Let's see. All right, folks, that's it for me. Done and dusted. And I'll be back same time tomorrow, pre-market. If you're going to trade FOMC, please be safe. Be aware that, you are playing with way more volatility than you're probably used to. Just be careful, okay? It's designed to hurt people. That's why it's built. And I'll be back to trade the nice easy session tomorrow once we're all done. Peace and love. Use hard stops. Be smart. Protect your profits. You know the score. Don't be getting chopped up today before FOMC. I'll speak to you real soon.